Hi. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Martha. Oh, I'm a nurse by profession. I relocated to the United States in 2018, October. Yeah, so welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, yeah, you can go ahead, like, share, subscribe. Let everybody that can benefit from this information hear of it so that they can do something about their lives, their careers. Yeah, so today I wanted to talk about what a visa screen is, the debate about whether to take IELTS, whether or not to take IELTS, and all that. All right. So IELTS, that's IELTS, is pretty much just, an English proficiency exam. So if you're internationally educated, you will need to take this exam to prove to them that you can proficiently communicate, with patients so that you're able to deliver safe care to the patients here in the United States. So that's pretty much the reason why you need to take that exam. All right. I come from Zambia. We were colonized by the British. Everything else is done in English. English is our national language. So we're educated in English. Our papers are in English and all that, but we still need to take the English proficiency exam for some reason, which is still okay. All right. So the IELTS exam that you need to take is the academic, IELTS. All right. IELTS academic. There are different types of IELTS that offered by British Council, but they require the IELTS academic for you to come and work here in the United States. All right, so there are 50 states here in the United States, and then each state has its own nursing body. All right, and each nursing body has its own requirements. Okay, so some of them are going to require IELTS when opening up an account with them, and some of them do not require you to have IELTS results when opening up an account. It is through the nursing body where you're going to get that information, the authorization to test that you need to be able to write, NCLEX. All right, so it is a requirement. So number one, if you are internationally educated, you're going to submit your paperwork to an evaluation body. An evaluation body can be any, but the recommended one is CGFNS. So you submit your paperwork to CGFNS, your transcripts and everything else, and whatever it is that you submit, now CGFNS gets to assess, evaluate that paperwork, and then they say, okay, these papers are good, you qualify. They release what they call the CES report, and then this CES report is the one that they send to the nursing board. All right, whichever nursing board from whichever state that you choose to write your NCLEX from. Okay, so that CES is sent to that nursing body. The nursing body now gets to give you what they call an authorization to test, an ATT. That ATT is what now you're required to book a test at the Pearson VUE Exam Center. All right, and then in Africa, the nearest that you can get is SA. Thankfully, the time I was doing mine, we had to go to India, and India was the closest and pretty much a cheaper option. Yeah, but you can write it wherever. If you have the money, you can go to UK, you can go to the Philippines, you can go whichever area has. But Africa, the only center that Africa has is the one that just opened in SA. So you have to travel to SA to go and write that the NCLEX exam. Yeah, so I was talking about IELTS. Let me not digress. Yeah, so why is IELTS a requirement? Just like I said, it's a proficiency English exam. You're going to come here. This is an English-speaking country. So you need to be able to communicate in English for you to be able to deliver what? Self-care. Everything here is around safety. So you're talking about delivering self-care. And for you to deliver self-care, you need to be able to communicate. All right. So that is the most important thing. Okay. So CGFNS will do two things for you. All right. They're going to evaluate your paperwork, your transcripts and everything, and then give you that CES report that you require to take to that nursing board for you to book for that NCLEX. Yeah, so the other thing that they're going to do is they're going to do what they call a visa screen. A visa screen, just like the name itself, they're going to screen now your credentials. It's federal law. They're going to screen your credentials to say, okay, she qualifies to be a nurse. We've screened her paperwork. And then they're going to they're going to give you what they call a certification, a visa screen certificate. This certificate is what you're going to now take to the embassy when you go for that interview. They will need that, all right? Because your papers were, that certification that CGFNS gives you is what you're going to go with to the embassy. Your offer letter, your employment offer letter, and that certification for you to get that immigrant visa, for you to get that work permit to come and work here in the United States. So it is at that point where you will be required to submit, IELTS test results. So like I said, the whole entire process of you going to write NCLEX and everything might not require you to have IELTS. That's the reason why some nursing boards will not ask you to provide IELTS results right at the beginning, because they don't need that for you to write NCLEX. All right. So some nursing boards are going to want that right from the beginning, and others won't. I'll give you an example of Texas Board of Nursing. Texas Board of Nursing does not require you to provide IELTS results right at the beginning. All they need is just your nursing paperwork. Your nursing paperwork, you submit that, and that is pretty much enough for them to evaluate. Okay, for them to evaluate and say, okay, you qualify. You don't need IELTS for Texas Board of Nursing for you to write NCLEX. All right, so what is NCLEX again? Because a lot of people get to say, oh, I have IELTS, do I need to take NCLEX? Yes, so IELTS is an English proficiency test that you take, all right, for them to see, oh, okay, you can speak English, good. All right, while NCLEX on the other hand stands for National Council Licensure Examination. It is a license that now you attend here in the United States to come and work as a nurse. So wherever you're going to go, you will need a license. Just like a driver's license, you need a license to come and practice as a nurse here. All right, so you have a license in your country, you need a license here in the United States. So that's what NCLEX is. All right, so English, OET, IELTS, OET are just English proficiency exam. NCLEX is an exam that allows you to have a license now to come and practice here in the United States. Okay, luckily, you can also practice as a nurse in Canada using the same NCLEX results. That's a good thing, right? Yeah, so Canada also does the same. NCLEX here, USA, Canada, it's the same thing. All right, so let me not digress again. So that visa screen is going to be given to you by CGFNS. That is what they're going to give you, a certification when they assess your paperwork and all that. And that is the same certification that you're going to carry with you to go to the embassy, because you need it for them to give you a visa, all right, a work permit, all right, an immigrant visa, whatever it is that they're going to give you. That's where that visa screen comes in. So a lot of people will say, oh, can I write this? Yeah, because this agency doesn't really ask for IELTS. I'd say yes, they will not ask for it right at the beginning, because you don't really need it to write NCLEX. But for you to get that visa screen, you still have to write NCLEX at some point. Okay, you still, look at me now. You still need to write the IELTS exam at some point, because you will need it for that visa screen. Okay, yeah. So what do they need? Of course, you need to be you need to have finished a grade 12. You need to have obtained a diploma, a bachelor's degree in nursing in your country of origin. You need to have been practicing at some in your country of origin for them to, get to assess your credentials and everything else and all the good stuff. Yeah. So like I said, let me not be everywhere and all over the show. So there are certain states here in the United States that will not ask for you to submit IELTS results right at the beginning, because you don't really need that for you to write the NCLEX exam. All right, so you can actually start the entire process without IELTS right at the beginning, get your paperwork done and all that. IELTS is required when now they start, screening you for that visa. All right, they need to screen you for that visa. They need to say, okay, yeah, and then they only get to do that visa screen after you pass your NCLEX anyway. So that's the reason why some states actually require you to take it, after you pass. All right, which is also a good thing, because one, IELTS results do expire after 2 years. Yeah, so depending on when you take it, it gets to expire. So you don't really want it to expire while you're still processing stuff, because you paid a lot of money to take it. You also spent time preparing and writing the test and all that. Yeah. So can you write NCLEX without IELTS? I say yes, you can. All right. There are certain states here in the United States that do not require you to actually do what? To actually take the IELTS before you take the NCLEX. And it's a good thing. You only need that IELTS actually to just do your visa screen. Yeah. So at some point, you still have to take it. You can choose to take it before, or you can choose to take after. After makes a lot of sense because it expires. So you want to hold on to it, pretty much longer before it actually expires. Yeah, so that's what a visa screen is, and that's what the IELTS exam is for. So before then, I think the time I was doing mine around 2017, 2016, or a few years back, they were actually not taking OET. But as of now, CGFNS actually allows OET as well. So with OET, you need, of course, 300, 300, 300, and 350 in speaking. Yeah, and then for IELTS, you need a total band score of 6.5. with of course 6.5 in speaking. Yeah, so the main thing that they target is the speaking and the listening. You need to have at least 6.5 in those. Yeah, and then over a band score about 6.5 in IELTS, and then 300, 300, 300, and 350 in speaking if you are talking about OET. Yeah, so it's not really much compared to what UK requires. Yeah, because UK requirements are pretty much high for their band score. Yeah, for them, they just look at the speaking and the listening part. Yeah, that is pretty much what they focus on. Yeah, so of course, preparation, you can prepare, you can use YouTube. YouTube has very rich resources for preparation of IELTS, and then you can also look at pretty much free apps on your app store. Yeah, you can go, because that's what I pretty much use, and I wrote it once and I didn't have to do it again. So that is what pretty much, and that took about a month or two just to prepare. So it just depends with how much time you put in. Yeah, so you can use YouTube. Yeah, YouTube has very great resources, actually free resources that you can actually do. Yeah, so the number one thing, of course, like I always say, is practice, 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 practice. It's English, and don't underestimate, just say, it's just English, I can speak English. Yes, you can speak English, but you need to practice and know how they want you to answer their stuff. Listening, they'll play stuff, and you'll be writing down what they're saying and all that. And then speaking, you'll be speaking to somebody, more like an interview. So you need to be confident, and you should be able to converse properly. And then writing, and then there's also reading. Reading is more of comprehension. They give you a passage and then they ask you questions and all that. Yeah, so you want to know what you're doing, and then also download, and there's an app also on, I think, App Store, which just give you like tips on how to be successful. Yeah, so like I said, also what you need is IELTS Academic. Yeah, IELTS Academic. There are different types of IELTS when you go to British Council website, but what you need is the IELTS Academic. That's the one that you book. Yeah, so this entire process takes a bit of time. You need a lot of patience. There's no quick fix, unfortunately. Immigration takes time, paperwork, assessment, and all that takes time. So you need to be patient. Yeah, you need to be patient. And believe you me, 2 years just flies by so quick, especially when you're preparing for NCLEX. Yeah, it flies by so quick. So you want to be patient. Yeah, and then also ensure that all your paperwork is in place, so that when they ask you for paperwork, they ask you for transcripts, they are in place, they're already there. You're not really again taking your time submitting all this paper, because also that also just increases your wait time. Yeah, so you want to make sure that your passports, your vaccines, your transcripts and everything else is in place, so that when they start asking you for those documentations and all that, you have them at hand, so that you don't really have to spend a lot of time having to Yeah. So IELTS, OET are English proficiency exams. NCLEX is a licensure exam that you take to come and practice in SE in the United States. There are two different tests. There are two different exams. Yeah. So do not mistake that, because people said, I have OET. Do I need to take NCLEX? Yes, you do. Yeah. So there are two different exams, totally different exams. All right, and you should have to take them both at some point. Yeah, so that is what I wanted to pretty much clear today, to say you will need both IELTS, you will need NCLEX to come and practice here. Either OET or IELTS, whichever you choose to take, will actually be acceptable. Yeah, so like I always say, this channel is here for you people. I went through this process. I used an agency. I've been pretty much successful. I finished my contract. I'm here now. So I'm sharing this information with you, that if you have interest, if you want to do this, wherever you're coming from, any part of Africa, anywhere, provided you have the required paperwork, whatever it is that they need, go ahead and apply. I cannot really emphasize this enough. Go ahead and apply. And then, like I always say as well, this is not for everybody. It might work for you, it might not work for you, but whatever it is that you choose, do not discourage your friends. Yeah, those that want to do it, let them come do it. And then you can come and experience, and if it doesn't work for you, home is home. You can go back home after your contract. All right, but if it works for you, you can decide to stay. All right, so like I always say, whatever it is that you're seeking is already out there waiting for you to grab. So go out there and just do what you got to do. If your dream is to relocate, to come and live the American dream, you're welcome. There's enough space for everybody in here to excel, to come and, prosper. There's enough room for everyone. Enough room for everyone. Right now, we are struggling with shortage. There's the crisis. They are calling you to come and cover this shift. They are calling you to come and do. There's a crisis. There's nursing shortage everywhere here in the United States. There are 50 states, like I said. They need nurses everywhere. So if you are that person that has a heart to help, that has a heart to serve, this will be your place for you. And they have enough of overtime, enough of everything to come and just, yeah. And not just that, the money is also good. So you won't lose out on anything. At least when you clock in, clock out, you can see that, oh, okay, my money is here, my money is there, my money is here. It's not really hand to mouth, you're not really like struggling financially. You're at least okay. All right. So again, I want to say thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being here. I would love you to like, to share, and of course, subscribe. And share this information with people that will benefit from it. If you know somebody that really wants to relocate, of course, all the information that you need is right here. So thank you and have a great one. Bye.